Everyone, Facebook, YouTube. This is Ethan over at Piano Tech Radio Hour, Piano Technicians Master Classes. Good to see you. We'll let in our Zoom audience as well. Where's my Zooms? Hey, everyone on Zoom, welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour. Great to have you here. Make sure my guests in there are spotlighted on the video. But yeah, great turnout today. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful summer day here in Chicago. It's nice, at least. And we have folks here from all over the place. Hope you're having a good summer day. Um, and yeah, we'll get started here in a minute. Always like to give just a little bit of space for people to get settled. If you just notice the stream going out, you find your bearings. If you are checking out the stream on Facebook or YouTube, we will add a link into the chat so that you can join us into the Zoom call. So keep an eye out for that if you want to get a little bit closer to the action. And as always in Zoom, we welcome questions and engagement from the audience. If you're not feeling it, that's fine as well. But you're welcome to say hi and check in and have be a part of the conversation. Video, audio, text messaging are all great. And we'll intro the program here in a minute so we can all set context for this lovely program. So this is Piano Tech Radio Hour. What we do here is we gather every Saturday to meet with and learn from the most fascinating and knowledgeable folks in the piano world, including manufacturers, rebuilders, musicians, makers of other instruments, and of course, piano techs. Our mutual goal is to become better at our craft to help each other and to create an ever more musical world together. Piano Tech Radio Hour is brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, a cutting-edge online learning resource that brings you cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. You can find out more at pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. You can also subscribe to Radio Hour for just 16 bucks a month. You get direct access to each week's private Zoom call, as well as all the archival recordings, over 200 episodes in our member area. You can join using the link bit.ly/join PTRH. We have a podcast, audio only version of the program. We're starting to release episodes again. We were taking a little bit of pause from releasing, but we're releasing newer and archival episodes. So tune in there. It's been popular across the globe. We've reached top 100, top 10, even top number one status in various locales in the performing arts category on iTunes. Also check out the blog on Substack. You'll find some valuable content, which is gleaned from our private masterclass material. So you get a little sneak peek, see if anything's interesting in the blog on Substack. If you like it, you can jump in, buy a subscription for the masterclass content. We do have those masterclasses pretty much every third Thursday of the month. And we're even branching out lately into various topics that are a little bit askance from piano technology, but also very interesting. So for example, soon we'll have Molly Gabrian back on. She is a musician who is well versed in the neuroscience of practicing. So you can get better at your practicing skills. We'll talk all about that in that upcoming masterclass. Additionally, just check out our socials: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And make sure you go to the website and sign up for the email list so you can keep abreast of what's going on here. Let us introduce our esteemed guest today, Marius Van Den Brink. He's a Dutch-born pianist and composer, making waves in New York's jazz scene with his fearless originality and sharp musical instincts. He's performed at major venues like the North Sea Jazz Festival and Birdland, collaborated with heavyweights like Jeff Tain Watts and Ingrid Jensen, and was awarded the Pathways to Jazz grant. His debut album, New York Knock, held a spot on the JazzWeek Top 50 for 11 weeks, and his latest release, Live at Dizzy's Jazz Club, continues to earn acclaim for its bold sound and dynamic band leadership. Marius, welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour.
Thank you, Ethan. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you actually get to fly from Old Amsterdam to New Amsterdam? Is that a flight that you get to take?
Sure. Yeah, I do it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. People don't call it that much anymore, but it's got that vibe, I suppose. I'm just gonna go riff on this a little bit. that's what it was named. Do you see similarities? Is it the geographics? Is it the rivers? What do you see, if any, as similarities between Amsterdam and New York?
Well, the most thing that kind of immediately struck out to me is the street names. I see all these street names and they're, named after Dutch cities. Yeah, like Amersfoort or Utrecht, or they're all like I see them everywhere in New York.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. And as somebody who lived there, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Utrecht. I did not know. I'm always like, what
exactly.
is
Yeah.
Utrecht? What does that mean?
Yeah, yeah, and it's all like cities like that are coming back, like even very small cities that nobody really knows, even in the Netherlands. I see some street names, that in New York that are, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's fun.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so when did you arrive officially? And are you like doing the citizen? Are you like what's your situation in terms of having been here and residing here or not officially, or what's your situation there?
Sure, yeah. I came here in 2017, and I went to study at SUNY Purchase College, upstate New York.
Hmm.
I did that for 2 years, and yeah, I mean, I love New York so much that I decided to stay. And yeah, it's been 8 years now, and I'm here with my wife and my daughter. So
Hmm.
yeah, we're not leaving anymore.
I leave it. Okay, great. Um, and I'm curious, as someone, I mean, I moved to New York. So just a little bit of background on me so we can share our context, right? I grew up in the Midwest, small town in Michigan, but I did then grow up in a little bit bigger city, Chicago.
Yeah,
Went to high school there. That's when I was first exposed to jazz in high school. I
awesome.
literally remember listening to the first time I listened to Thelonious Monk. I was like, this guy's an idiot. I don't know what, like, he sounds like a child playing the piano. Took me a while to get the taste for it, but
Same.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, but but anyways, you hear about New York City and you hear about Miles Davis and John Coltrane and all this stuff. And I actually didn't move to New York City till after I went to Rutgers in New Jersey for a while. But being there and going by the Village Vanguard, or
yeah,
going to Smalls, or even just hanging out in Washington Square Park and having people playing music. Um, it's both something you feel that some familiarity with, but something you have to actually discover the reality of, right? So I'm curious, do you have any interesting thoughts or stories about, you know, moving to New York and then experiencing what you only had some sort of vision or dream of previous? Yeah.
yeah, 100%. I mean, when I was still in the Netherlands, I was working quite a bit as a musician, like pretty much every day. But
Mm,
I always felt like there was something more that I wanted to gain, and I wanted to learn more. And New York was always in the back of my mind, like I wanna see what this is like. And I turned 26, and at that time it was like, well, it's gonna be now or never. So I applied for all the schools and the grants and the fundings and that kind of stuff, visas, and it all worked out. But the first thing I kind of noticed when I moved to New York, like the moment I arrived, I was like, yes, I'm at the right place. Like this is
mm,
where this is where I need to be right now, and kind of immediately felt like home. Like this is it. And yeah, I mean, the first thing I kind of noticed, particularly as a musician, is that the level in New York is so high that yeah, you really got to find a way to kind of make yourself fit in it, or even stand out. Like what are you gonna offer to the scene that's gonna
mm,
make you be seen, right?
mm,
Because there's so many amazing musicians, and there's more and more coming. So,
mm,
but yeah, immediately your level gets higher, and you start climbing up to where others are that you're looking up to. And my experience that yeah, that's the first thing that
mm.
kind of it struck me. Yeah.
Yeah. Having done all these episodes, we get to hear some, or just like walk through some interesting stories, and I learn things all the time. that maybe other people might take for granted, but you know, we all have our gaps. But I've been struck by, you know, like a pattern of people that I know their names and I know they're well recognized musicians, but that they had their time in New York, and I didn't realize that was part of their journey. Like Astor Piazzolla, for example. I
Mm,
remember learning about that from one of our guests, that Astor Piazzolla came to New York, but then
yeah,
also interfaced with Nadia Boulanger at some point. But it's like the concepts that people that emerge. I mean, they could happen other places, but I think there are people who are very significant that came to New York, and there's something about that that may have just sparked that shift, right? And in bringing something out of them, or you know,
yeah, sure.
catalyzing something specific, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a special place. I mean, I think for music, or for jazz, it's the best place to be. And yeah, it's still just there's living legends still around. You know, Ron Carter and Jeff Tain Watts, and plenty of musicians that are so yeah, so important to the whole scene.
Let's take a listen at one of your tracks.
Sure.
I'll pick one of the ones that has a video. So I have New York Knock and Camara or Camara. Um, which one? Do you have a preference?
Well, I mean, kind of in addition to this story, let's do New York Knock, because the knock stands for wake up call, because I grew up in such a small village in the Netherlands. It's called Ace,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's about 300 people. And then I moved to New York, so that was quite a bit different. And yeah, that song is kind of about that transition of me being in such a small place and then moving to New York, and the music kind of woke me up here in a certain way.
Okay, perfect. Right along with our conversation too. All right, here we go. Sharing that. You guys will have to let me know if there's any issues with the video or audio. We'll just take a sample. I don't know if you have time for the whole thing, but let's check it out.
Sure. Yeah. Nice fade
Awesome.
out.
Try to make it clean.
Yes, sir.
Um, Wonderful. Yeah, I had a bunch of thoughts while we were checking that out. Very good. Yeah, and you're getting some video applause here as well
Thank
from
you.
iPad. I'm not sure whose iPad, but or we'll call you ePod just to make it sound ethnic or something. But but yeah, I guess one of the things that I was curious to ask about is, your compositional approach, right?
Mhm.
And I guess number one, you said you were playing music, and of course improvising, I'm sure, before coming and studying. Um, but were you always composing? Is that something that you've taken up, recently, or yeah, what's been your history with composition?
I've always been composing for sure, but it wasn't until New York that I kind of started taking it more seriously, like making, yeah, I would say making records for myself for the first time, like deciding to actually do something with it and putting it out as an album. Yeah.
Hmm. And how do you approach it? Is it just a matter of, let me just sit down with a pencil and fiddle around at the keyboard and write it out? Do you? Yeah, I did this with another. We had a trombonist and arranger come on recently, and I was kind of curious about his
Sure.
compositional process as well. If you don't have answers to these questions, you'd be like, I don't know, dude. I just feel it. But but yeah,
No, I do.
you
Yeah.
sit down with recordings and be like, I want it to sound like that, or I'm going for this vibe, or what's your approach?
I don't really think about it like that. I just what I usually do is I wake up in the morning, I go practice, and then what happens is that after a while I get certain ideas and I start recording them on my phone.
Mm,
Then I kind of uh, I kind of work them out slowly, and then I try them out with bands, see what works, what doesn't work, and if it sparks something in me, like I start feeling goosebumps or start feeling like happy, then I know that there's a chance that that's gonna do the same thing to an audience member. So that's a good sign. Yeah.
mm, mm. And so it sounds like you um there's things that don't make it, like that, you're always working stuff out, ideas come to you, you start here and there,
Yeah.
but there's some stuff that's kind of either sitting and waiting, or decided, okay, that's not a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, but it's also like sometimes it just comes back later. Like
Hmm.
sometimes I have an idea, and then maybe 5 years later, I it kind of comes back to me, and that that's a good sign too because apparently it needs to be I need to do something with it.
Mm. And I'm sorry for all the questions. This is, for some reason, this is fascinating to me. I wish that I've done composition. um um I like making music and writing music, but a lot of it I'll for myself, or doing it for groups or ensembles. I've only really done as a sort of collaborative. I'm in a band, and we bring in some ideas, and then you
Sure.
add your part and you add your part. Um, so this is the basic question. I want to ask it, but what are you doing these days as a composer? It's been years since I've been sharing it with other people. So do you sit with paper and pencil? Do you use a computer? Is there some sort of iPad type of thing that you're doing? Or like, do you just have to play it into a keyboard and it's just writing it out? Yeah, what's your actual process for documenting it, right? Because you got to give charts at least to the horn
Yeah,
players
totally.
in a situation like this. Yeah.
No, I use Sibelius, which is a music notation program.
Okay.
I've been using it for years. It's only working on my very old MacBook, so once that one dies, then I gotta start again.
Okay. Is Sibelius, is that something that isn't hasn't
No,
advanced,
it's
or
just it's a very old version of it,
it's old
and
version? Okay.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna have to learn a new version if it
Mm,
ends. Yeah,
there you go. That happens.
yeah.
Um, Tell me about the connections that you're making here in New York. So we were talking before we started, but it didn't mention it in the program. So Sean Jones is somebody that was studying at Rutgers when I was there. I feel like he was
Amazing.
maybe a grad student or something like that.
Sure.
Um, and I guess that would have meant he was studying with William Fielder. Have you by the way, have you heard any stories about William Fielder, known as Prof?
I'm afraid not. No.
Okay. You're gonna ask Sean, because I feel
Okay.
like he was studying with Prof, and you got to ask him for Prof stories. I'll kind of like give you a little bit about it. But so,
Sure.
anyways, how are you coming across these musicians? You're working with talented people, as mentioned in your bio, and as we can see here. Is it that you meet them out and seeing at jam sessions? I don't know, like how are you building this network and how are you making the connections with the other musicians?
Well, it's a combination of things. I mean, the first thing I would say is like I'm out a lot, so I'm hanging out a lot in the scene, like pretty much every night. And yeah, I meet a lot of people there, a lot of musicians, and you kind of get an idea of what fits with your music, and that's yeah, that's one thing. But for that record, like there's also a couple of musicians that I just called like out of the blue, just because I knew like Sean Jones, for example. I saw him play when I was, I guess, 15 at the North Sea Jazz Festival in Rotterdam.
Mm,
And yeah, he always stayed with me. So yeah, that was kind of a cool circle moment to have him on my record. But him, I just got his number from Stacy, who was playing saxophone on the album,
mm,
and that's how I reached him. Yeah,
very cool.
yeah,
Um, so all right, I'll tell you about Prof and then you could ask Sean about Prof later.
sure.
So Prof is this, I took classes with Prof, he's a teacher. And so this guy, he taught, um, uh, Wynton Marsalis
Mm,
when Wynton Marsalis was younger. That's kind of one of his most famous students. And, um, he, he hung out with all the guys, Herbie Hancock. He actually lived in Chicago, um, at a certain point,
uh-huh.
and he would go to, um, Herbie Hancock's house and hey, oh, I'm working on some art. Yeah, what was it? I forget. Bud Powell. He's working on Bud Powell, and it's so fascinating, right? To imagine the scenario of you're like
Can't imagine. Yeah,
you're Herbie Hancock's your buddy, right? And you're actually seeing him become a musician, right? So
yeah,
he's telling stories about, yeah, he was working on Bud Powell, and then like, whatever it was, some short amount of time later, a couple months,
yeah.
or say he had all of it transcribed, or he had the style down, or whatever. And like,
Sure.
wow, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So Prof passed away, I'm sure a few years ago, but he was just one of these characters that had all these stories and knew all these folks. And then, but he also had this crazy kooky old guy personality. So he was like just was going blind, and his voice was he was like losing teeth, and he always would co-opt a student, in our program to help him. So I think Sean was there studying with him. You'd be like getting him groceries, or
Sure,
helping him
sure.
with like basic tasks, which was like the reward for it was you would get to hear these stories.
Yeah.
Um, so in addition to sort of like meeting these people, and you meet them on the scene. So you mentioned the scene, and I'm curious, what is that? So what is that like, in terms of what's the scene? Is it jam sessions? Is it going to other people's performances? A little bit of both. And if so, where? What are the clubs these days that are kind of part of the scene for you?
Yeah, it's definitely both. It's a combination of going to concerts, going to see friends play, but also sessions. And I guess the places I hang the most are Smalls, Mesro, Dizzy's Club, Ornithology, Blue Note. Those are kind of the clubs I go to a lot. Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
yeah.
We share the duties, but we do tune for Smalls and Messero. I know we do some
Oh,
piano tunes
good.
for them, um, relatively often. And the other places we may as well, but those stand out because we got a call from them.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't been myself. I mean, I feel like I was in Smalls. I don't know if they opened it in the same location it was, uh, many years ago. I remember going to Smalls many years ago, but I feel like
Right.
they like shut it down and opened it back up. And
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I think it's the same location, but I'm not 100% sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Let's check out another composition. Maybe the second one. Is it
Sure.
Kamara? What's the?
Yeah, I've been working a lot with a vocalist from Guinea, Africa, and her name is Natu Kamara. And I'd
Okay.
written this song, but I didn't have a title for it. But she's such a singer with a very well, her spirit is so strong when she gets on stage, and this song kind of reminded me of that. Actually,
Mm.
especially the ending. So I decided to name it after her last name, Kamara.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. We'll get that share going, and we'll get that full screen, and let's take a listen. All right, everyone's enjoying that.
Good.
That saxophone solo.
I know, right? Yeah.
Sean, like, yeah, this is good.
Good, good, good.
Definitely the yeah, some very tasteful Coltrane call outs there.
Yep.
Um, okay, here's my question that I remember from the last track. Where's the conga player? Is there a
Oh
conga
yeah.
player?
Good question. Well, I that one I dubbed over. I didn't do
Okay,
it
okay,
myself, but Keita Ogawa, he's a great percussionist, and
okay,
I felt like some of the songs could need percussion, and that's
okay,
yeah, I added that later.
okay. Nice,
Yeah.
yeah. It fits right in, but I'm like, hmm.
Yep. Good observation. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch it till a little bit after hearing it for a bit. Um, okay, so I would love to just dive in again. This is more my personal curiosity in terms of making your home, whether it's your own home or you feel like you're making yourself at home for other people in the scene. What I guess and to start that off, you were at SUNY Purchase, is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Where is that? because I've heard of it a lot, but I've never been there. Where is that in proximity to New York City? Is it right there, or is it kind of
Um,
like a little bit farther?
it's a little bit farther. It's in Westchester,
Okay.
White Plains, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so it's like an hour train ride down in the city or something like
yeah.
that.
With the car, it's about. I mean, I used to live in Harlem, and with the car, it would be about like half an hour to get there. Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
you chose, that's what I was trying to put together because Sweeney Purchase is great because it's close to New York, but it's not like you're at NYU or something like
No,
that where
you're not right in the middle. Yeah.
you're not right in the middle. So you chose to live someplace that was sort of like in between the two so that you could hop down into the city and still experience the scene, but then attend classes and the
Yeah,
university.
I mean, I definitely wanted to live in the city to be
Mhm.
around that energy, but yeah, it was also the master's program, so it was a little less intense than a bachelor's program.
Right. Less location dependent probably as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and so what was the evolution there in terms of did you already arrive? Were there folks at your at the university kind of advising you, hey, go to these clubs and play, or did you was there a lot of personal exploring? Were your fellow students that you kind of would go to the clubs and play and stuff like that? How did that evolve?
yeah. I mean, definitely, I still have a lot of contact with a bunch of my fellow students, and they yeah, we would go to smalls together, or I mean, we're still playing a lot, so that was also kind of a nice way to find some fellow musicians that are willing to come with you to play and to come hang out in the city.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, I wanted to make the comment. I mean, I live in Chicago here, but I miss New York so much. There's plenty of scenes there. I got involved in the
Yeah.
comedy scene a little bit,
Oh
not
wow.
super heavily, but it's so it's so wonderful to be able to go like, oh, they would have open mics for it's a comedy version of like a jam session is like an
Totally.
open
Yeah.
mic, right? So the
Yeah.
guys show up and everybody takes 5 minutes and you know take random order, you write your name on a list and stuff like that.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, you get to know specific people, and it's just a very it's just a very fertile environment, right? For lots of I'm sure there's other scenes, right, that are going on. And that's happening in other cities, but there's something magical about New York and there's a
Yeah.
lot there. There's a
And
lot
there's
there. Yeah.
scenes within scenes too. Like the jazz scene has their own, like even every borough has their own kind of scene. You know, there's the Long Island City scene,
Hmm.
uh, Brooklyn scene, Harlem has its own thing. It's every borough has a different, yeah, different thing going on.
Are you still living in Harlem? You said you were there when you moved to the city, but is that where you still are?
No, I'm in Queens right now, in Astoria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great. Great.
yeah,
Um, so we'll check out some more music here in a minute. But you meant I think you probably want to mention at some point you have a new album coming out or what's your situation in terms of, recording and
yeah.
growing and the next projects on the pipeline?
Sure, yeah. I just last month I recorded a new album. It's a septet this time. It's with also with Sean Jones, Stacy Dillard, Steve Wilson on alto and flute, and
Hmm.
Steve Davis on trombone, Matt Penman on the bass, and Ofri Nehemiah on drums. And it's all original compositions. Uh, yeah, we recorded at Sear Sound. We did one day, 8 tracks, and yeah, that's coming out hopefully in January. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, that's great. I'm excited. You'll be on my Spotify playlist here
awesome.
moving forward. Um, so when it comes to the performance, I know sometimes it can be, when you're in a city, right? You can only play so much in that city, right? Before
Yeah,
whatever your audience
right.
or whatever. Just then there's the concept of touring around, and of course you have at least probably some access to your something going on in the Netherlands. However, you also came from a small town there. I don't know if you played much in the city. So do you tour much? Is the question I'm asking, or do you plan to, or is that not necessary or part of your plan? Yeah.
No, I love touring and I do it as much as I can. Like I just got back from Montreal, Canada.
Hmm.
Played at the Jazz Once, a great jazz club there. And the week before that, I was in Mexico City. Played at Parker and Lennox and Zinco Jazz Club. Really, really nice clubs also. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to the Black Cat in September in San Francisco. That's yeah, we do that pretty much yearly with the quintet, and that's always a blast.
Mm. And
Yeah.
so you just kind of get whatever crew can make it to the gig, and you fly to the location and then you fly back. That's kind of the way you're doing it.
Yeah, it really depends on what the situation is in terms of budget. But like San Francisco, I'm able to bring my own group from New York. But in Mexico and in Canada, I use local musicians,
Mm.
which is actually awesome because yeah, you meet new people, new friends, and it's really nice to be able to make music with or play your own music with new musicians. That it's special.
How does the sourcing of those musicians come to be? Is it the club that books you and you ask them like who's good around there? Or how do you find folks?
Usually I have a connection before I start reaching out to venues, and
Mm.
yeah, I mean New York has so many different musicians from different countries. So it's very easy to get somebody to help you. Like, hey, I'm going here. Do you have like recommendations, or what do I need to do in terms of transportation? Or yeah, it's very easy.
Mm. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Um, yeah, it seems the more I talk to people about touring, especially when we have musicians on here, I feel like that the concept of touring has sort of evolved in recent years or decades. I feel like it used to be something where you went on the road and you kind of stayed on the road and you went, you booked this city to that city and you drove from this one to that one or whatever you did. It feels like more and more nowadays touring can just be, it's not really a tour. It's just
I know.
a
Yeah.
out and in and then out and in, which is kind of
Yeah.
nice. You get to be home,
Yeah.
you don't have to, it could be quite tiresome if you're on the road for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on the artist, I think. Like there's a bunch of like the most well-known like jazz artists like Christy McBride or like Samara Joy or yeah, like musicians in that category are definitely like on the road quite a bit. And then you'll see the schedules and it will be like, a month away or whatever. A month in Europe, a month in Asia or stuff like that, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, there still is these cases where they're just kind of going in and out, even to these
Definitely.
other countries.
Yeah.
Um, so in terms of playing with others, are you doing that as well in terms of travel? Are you being invited, or are you taking invitations to go, okay, hey, I need you to play on this gig out here, or are you in a group, other groups, or one other, what's the situation in terms of gigging with others?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I play a lot as a sideman too. I play a lot with Stacy Dillard, who plays the saxophone on my records.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I do some like sometimes Neil Kane calls me to do play with his trio. A bunch of singers I work with, Emily Braden, um, Marianne Sullivan. Yeah, they'll call me sometimes, and yeah. But I love working as a sideman too, for sure.
And you said you're a parent? Yes, you have one child? How old?
Yes, I do. At 2 and 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's not playing any music. I mean, just a little bit of bells and drums and stuff like that at this
Well,
point.
she's very musical though.
Yeah.
She sings all the solos on the album.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. That's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just inspired. So I have a 7-year-old and a recent guest, the trombonist I was talking about. So my 7-year-old talks about how he wanted to play the trombone, and
Wow.
of course, he plays the cello quite well. Actually, he's been doing
Awesome.
it for a couple of
Awesome.
years. But the idea was okay. Well, that's a big, heavy horn. You're not gonna. So we wouldn't consider that for a while. But the trombonist I had on a few weeks ago, he goes, uh, actually, he didn't tell me about it because of this. I was just talking about kids and him being, whatever. And he's like, well, yeah, there's actually I have got this plastic trombone. Um,
T-bone. Yeah, exactly.
the P-bone, you're aware
Yeah.
of this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, it actually plays quite well
Yeah.
and the kids can handle it. So I picked one of these up for my son.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Technology. I
Yep.
love it. Um, in terms of in terms of I don't know why I'm going to go there, but in terms of being like a family man here, being a musician, how's that been for you? Do you have yourself be the sole breadwinner? Do you just kind of have a two-income household? Do you how do you go about, having the family as a musician? It's an interesting thing to work out. Everybody has their own way of doing it. It's not like a corporate gig.
Yeah, sure. No, we have a good situation where my wife works and I work too. I
Hmm.
usually work at night, of course, but during the day I have to practice and I have to rehearse and all that, compose. So we have a nanny who helps us out a lot, and yeah, that's how we kind of are able to manage it all.
Wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful. Let's take another listen here. So we have, let's see here. We have In Greece We Drink.
yeah.
Should
This
we
is
should we check one out?
yeah, this is kind of a good example of because I've been influenced by a lot of different genres, and
Hmm.
this is kind of a good example of what my influence on world music is. So yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Here we go. I'm gonna check out someplace a little bit further along here.
Totally. Yeah.
What do you think? Here's a good spot. I'm just
Maybe a
Yes,
little further, I guess.
right here.
Yeah, more towards the end, I guess.
All right, let's check this
Something
out.
like that. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So in the instrumentation on that, so it was clarinet?
Clarinet and oud and qanun,
Oh, wow. And
electric
so
bass. Yeah.
the clarinet is being played by Stacy, yeah?
No, this is a completely different band. This is kind of a yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is a band called the New York Gypsy All Stars and featuring
Oh.
Ara Dingtian.
Oh yeah,
And
I see that here on the title on the YouTube. Okay, got it.
yeah, I've been playing with them for about, well, I guess 9 years already. And yeah, they've been a big influence on my writing and my playing. Very, very inspiring musicians.
Yes. We had recently he was an Armenian musician and he does some sort of integration with jazz and you know I
But
was thinking what's that?
is that Noah Garabedian by any chance?
Uh, I don't think that's it. Sorry, let me look it up. I should have these things on hand, but it's so many people, right?
Sure, yeah.
Armenian Hike, Hike Arsenian. Although I don't know if he was the one. I don't know if he's the one I'm thinking of. Um, okay, anyways, but the concept that I thought was interesting, and I think especially in New York too,
Yeah.
is as you're saying, like you get to take the gig. You take gigs or you meet people or whatever, and they're like, well, I'm an Armenian musician. Like, let's play this tune. You're like, okay, let me figure out how to play
Yeah.
Armenian
Practice.
music or whatever. Yeah. Um, but it's such a wonderful opportunity, right? Because then all of a sudden you get steeped in this culture that you never would have thought, you would have any exposure to,
No,
which
it's
is beautiful.
amazing. Yeah. It's a big eye opener, musically. Like it's a big deal for me to play music from different regions. Yeah.
Hmm. And I've been meaning to ask this as well throughout. I just haven't had the chance. What about, bringing your own culture? Is that do you find that's a big presence? I mean, jazz is its own culture, right? So you've taken on that and you're sort of steeped in that. But is there anything about Dutch jazz or even just Dutch music or culture that you feel like you bring into it, or are we not at that juncture?
I mean, I'm sure there's been like, I mean, there's this Dutch art form. It's called Kleinkunst, which literally translated, it's small art, which it's all very pretty songs. And I've done a couple of projects with those songs when I was still living there in the Netherlands, and definitely got some influences from that in terms of arrangements and melodic development, I would say. Yeah.
Mm. And also I forgot I also wanted to mention if anybody had any questions, now's the time because we only have about 10 minutes left. If anybody is interested in saying something or checking in, you can raise your digital hand or write something in the comments. I'll read your question for you or come on video, audio, whatever you like, or not. There's no pressure. But we're running out of time for questions. Is there anything that I didn't explore or ask about that you think is interesting to add to the conversation?
Um, well, I mean, I just think New York is a place where if you're at the right place at the right time, you can just get some serious opportunities. But I was talking to a bartender the other day, and that conversation kind of started, and what he mentioned was like, yeah, New York either embraces you or it spits you out. And I kind of agreed with that because I've also had some friends come and they were like, yeah, this is not it. But for me, it was really clear, like, yeah, this is where I need to be. Um, but yeah, there's been a couple of instances in my like the 8 years that I've been here uh that wouldn't have happened anywhere else. Like for example, on my next record, I have this song that I wrote that's called "I'll Be in Touch," and that is about how I met Wynton Marsalis while I was playing at a Chinese restaurant, and he heard me play like I was playing stride and the older style jazz, and he came up to me and said, "Man, you sound great. Do you have a card?" And that's I mean, where else are you gonna meet Wynton Marsalis in a Chinese restaurant?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely may. We've had a few guests recently that are in New York, and it's always fun, like to reminisce about the scene and the various
Yeah,
scenes and location. Yeah, it's a great opportunity. Um, all right, well, we'll begin to start wrapping it up here. There's
sure.
also just kind of a moment to share, what you'd like people to know about, where you're playing next, or give more details on your album and how people can find it. Whatever. This is your time. Words of wisdom.
Totally, yeah. Well, if you'd like to follow me or see where I play or like stay up to date on upcoming releases, the easiest way is I have a mailing list available, and you can subscribe to that on my website, which is www.mariusvandenbrink.com. And yeah, that way I keep everybody up to date on what's coming up. Yeah, I got a new record coming up. I hope you have a chance to check it out. And yeah, that's about it.
In terms of release process for these things, is it do you say, oh, check it out at Spotify? Do you say
Mhm.
buy it on this at this website, or how does that what is
Couple
the
of
process
options.
these days? It's all
Yeah,
evolving.
I
Yeah.
mean, I still make CDs, oddly enough, but yeah,
Okay.
I
Nice.
still sell them at concerts mostly. But there's this website. It's called Bandcamp.com.
Bandcamp, sure.
And that's where I sell my record. But if you want to stream it, it's all out on every platform.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and if you're in New York area tonight, actually, I'm playing at Smalls with my band at midnight. So, well, August 15, I'm at the Django with my band, which is also going to be cool. And then in September at the Black Cat, September 25
That's
to
in San
28.
Francisco, you said, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Sounds like
Yeah.
a great lineup. Justice lives in New York. We'll make her go to the show. Smalls.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
do. Woo,
Please do.
woo.
Um, okay, wonderful. Well, I could do our outro. coming up here momentarily. But it's been really wonderful. Thanks for joining us today. We have reached the end of another musical journey here at Piano Tech Radio Hour. Thanks to Marius for joining us. As always, Burrito brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, cutting edge instruction for piano industry masters without leaving your home. If you joined us today by signing up for the session individually, make your life more convenient. Subscribe to Piano Tech Radio Hour, just $16 a month. You get the recording of today's session in our member area, as well as automatic registration for each week's new session. Sign up at bit.ly/joinptrh. That's bit.ly/joinptrh. Don't forget about the podcast I mentioned earlier, the Substack blog, the socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and go to the website, pianotechniciansmasterclass.com, to sign up for our email list. And of course, don't forget to visit Marius's website and sign up for his email list as well. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll catch you later. And Marius, we'll jump back on the link and we'll wrap up. All right, guys.
Good.
Thank